Welcome everybody to RLM, just a few days out from it, 2024. Bryson, if you want to go ahead and share, I don't know if you can see that thing you're sharing there with some of the links on it. Perfect. Just wanted to give you guys a really brief overview of some of the events happening in RLM that are specific to the state of Oklahoma and to us here. We're going to be kicking things off on Sunday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. with a welcome reception for everybody from Oklahoma. That will be at the Crimson Whiskey Bar. If you guys came last year, it's at the exact same place. We got a pretty good deal. It's still pretty close to where the conference is happening, so we're going to stick with the same place again this year. So join us from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have some dream tickets when you get there. And then on Monday, in the evening at 5 p.m., there will be the RPAC Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Now, we have two Oklahomans being recognized this year. One with us on the call right now, Steve Reese. The claps are thunderous. And Amy Blado as well, being recognized for RPAC Hall of Fame. We're planning to sit together. So if you would like to find a place to sit together, I'll be there early. I'm going to try to find a place to sit. So if you want to come sit with other Oklahomans and do some cheering for our Hall of Fame inductees, come find us, and we'd love to sit with you and make a big cheer for them, grab some good pictures. So Tuesday marks the return again of Hill Visits. Bryson's going to have more information about that for you guys, and a little bit more about Hill Visits later on this call, but just noted that they are Tuesday afternoon. With regards to one of them is a little bit earlier than 1 p.m. And then everything kind of wraps up on Wednesday with the Oklahoma caucus at 2:30 p.m. and the Region 9 caucus at 4 p.m. And then after the Region 9 caucus, there will be a small reception with some light hors d'oeuvres and drinks afterwards with our Region 9 fellows from the other states. You can find a lot of this information and more on a little splash page we've created, okrealtors.com/RLM. If you go there, we'll redirect you to the site that has some information about Oklahoma-specific events happening. So you can find more information on each of these and where their location is. You can also find what we're calling OAR staffed events. It's not anything special for you guys, but if you are traveling alone or if you are there in DC and you want to sit with somebody at one of these events, maybe a general session or like an advocacy scoop or something like that, you'll have the contact information for one of our staff members who will also be there. So if you want to sit with somebody, you can come sit with us and we'll save you guys some room. That's the idea of the staffed events. And then as well on that little splash page, you'll find some information about reimbursements for those of you guys who serve on on national committees. You can be reimbursed up to $500 for this trip, or if you're a national chair or vice chair, up to $2,000 annually. And of course, the forms for filling those out and the other things we ask are on that website as well. So visit okrealtors.com/RLM. And so that's pretty much it for those things. If you guys have specific questions, please, you'll see a staff list of all of us that will be on the ground in DC. I know that Hutch, Bryson, myself, Krista, Will Roberts, any of us would be happy to help try to coordinate anything you have. Two of those other resources you saw on that webpage are the app, the RLM app. If you haven't downloaded that, we'd really suggest you doing so. You can find everything in there and give that a perusal. There are hundreds of events each day, so make sure you're giving that a check out. And then for those of you who want to do some studying up on the really important federal issues, on which bills are in front of Congress that could be impacting our industry or some updated stats at the federal level, go to flyin.realtor. And with that, I will turn things back over to Bryson.
Thank you very much, Will. I'm going to, oh, there we go. Thank you very much, Will. So I'm going to move ahead now and do a little bit more on our Hill visits. Our Hill visits are going to be on Tuesday afternoon from 1 to 5, like Will said earlier. Let me get over to this screen. And so you'll see last time we visited the Hill was in 2019 and 2022. I think that some of us on this call might have gone to both or one of those. Some of us, this might be the very first time you are doing Hill visits with the Realtors Association. as am I. And so we wanted to take this time to give a little bit of foundational work so you guys know what to expect when we're up there. Our office visits will be led by FPCs, our federal political coordinators, for each elected official. And then we organized our realtor members by congressional district first and foremost. And so if you are going to any of the, I guess, Kevin Hearn or Josh Burkeen visits, we actually were able to combine those. The constituents that we had for both of those districts fell into the number that we were able to allow you all to kind of hit that whole Tulsa thing. But the other ones, really, we had to split out into what we felt was best by using our senators as well. And so you will see here, we have James Lankford. Cheryl Pickens is our FPC4. Senator Lankford, and also our FPC advisor. She is a good person to ask questions to if you have them. But she, along with the other FPCs, should be coordinating with you all if you are in their list for a visit. And so you have probably already heard from one of these folks, or if you have not, you will hear from them shortly throughout the day, Wednesday and Thursday, and you will get a lot more information as to the office visit, timing, location, and that sort of thing in the next couple days. Which brings me to our OAR staff liaison will be at each one of the meetings. And so we're not sure exactly who that is yet, but it will be one of us there at the meeting spot that you will be notified of at the right time with the right materials. And so reach out to one of us at any time if you get lost or need anything. And then finally, I wanted to mention that by May 3rd, on this Friday, we will be sending out to all of you a digital resource packet, basically, that includes the following information: an office visit information sheet that will show our attendees, and then provide some information on the delegate that we are visiting. We are going to have an Oklahoma Federal Priorities one-pager. I'll get back to that in one moment. And then we have 4 documents that NAR produced that it's basically their talking points, one-pager and priorities. We have a copy of the VA administrator letter that NAR just recently sent, and then also some economic data that we'll be providing for you all, but also all of this to our congressional offices as well. And so going back now to our Oklahoma Federal's Priorities one-pager, this will be the document that you guys should look to guide your discussion during the meetings. And this is the one-pager that we developed directly from NAR's talking points. So within the other resources that I mentioned, it does include our priorities, and we are in line with those NAR priorities, but wanted to provide a very Oklahoma-centered message for our representation up there. That's what they're there for. They're there to hear from constituents. And so if we are able to provide a very clear, actionable one-pager that they have items that are specific to what they see in DC, that's really what we want to center our messaging and our meeting around. And so without further ado on that subject, I want to kick it over now to Hutch for a word on realtor etiquette in Hill visits.
Thank you, Bryson. So it has been a few years since we have actually participated in the Hill visits. In fact, I was trying to remember the last time that we went to the senatorial offices or congressional leaders' offices, and I believe it was 2019 because in 20 they were canceled. So we know that some of you are new to this process and some of you haven't been there before. So I wanted to take just a moment to talk about etiquette and really to touch on 3 things in relation to that. Number one, going to the Capitol, while it shouldn't need to be said, I'm going to say it. We have the expectation that our members will join us and that they will wear business attire when they go. When we go to the U.S. Capitol, to those offices, there is a dress code inside of the Capitol, but beyond that, flip-flops, shoes, Crocs, shorts rather, Crocs, it's not appropriate attire. And so we would ask you to dress appropriately for meeting with our congressional leaders so that we make the right impression with them. And in that line, by the way, when we're in those offices, we're going to ask you to be polite and respectful. not to be argumentative, right? But rather to understand that they're there to hear from us and that we are there to convey a specific message to them. That leads me to the second point, which is the agenda for those meetings. It should be clear to you that we are going as representatives of the National Association of Realtors, as well as Oklahoma Association of Realtors, and in some cases, your own local association. And so the issues that we go to speak about are issues that we approach with the one voice policy. And what the one voice policy or the one voice practice says is that we may agree to disagree behind closed doors, but when we move out into the public, we go with one voice, unified together. And so we're going to ask that you look at and study those legislative objectives, the agendas that are going to be sent to you, understand the talking points that are in them, and stay on those talking points. Which leads me to my third point that I really want to communicate to you or ask of you. It is not lost on me that many of you are getting yourself to Washington, D.C. You're taking time away from your business, from your family, from the things that you do. You're expending your own personal resources to go. That's not lost on me. I respect that. But what I do want to be clear is that these visits that are being set up have been set up by the Oklahoma Association of Realtors for the specific purpose of communicating our agenda to the elected officials. Now, what you don't know or may not know is that behind the scenes for the last few weeks, we've actually been working with every one of those offices, prepping them for what to expect, helping them to understand the types of questions that they should be thinking about asking us, what the impacts are. They want to hear from you. But during this time, they're going to be prepared to hear about these topics that we are bringing in the agenda. This is not a time to chase the proverbial rabbit. It's not a time to look for our own agendas and try to promote those. Feel welcome to do that. Your legislator wants to hear from you, but this is not that time and that place. And so I'd ask you kindly and respectfully to refrain from steering away from the agendas that will be prepared for you on these meetings. Again, I want to express to you our greatest appreciation for you going. I believe I just looked at the list a minute ago. We have 61 delegates coming from our state to represent Oklahoma Realtors. And we're looking forward to spending the time getting to know you and accomplishing some amazing things on behalf of our Realtor members. Bryson, back to you and answer any questions we can.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Hutch, for those words. We actually don't have any questions that we had in chat, but I would say that expect to see these things, everything we talked about here Friday. A lot more information coming your way, and we are excited to see you up there. So without further ado, we will end this recording and see you in DC. Thanks, everyone.